Hi, I'm Slawek with iDrinkCoffee.com. Today I'm presenting the Sanremo D8 Pro commercial espresso machine. The release of the D8 has been highly anticipated because Sanremo bills this machine as a game changer, and we tend to agree. The D8 has a very attractive design, it's very feature rich, and it has a very approachable price tag. In order to present and demonstrate the D8, I'm going to go over its many features. I'm going to brew some drinks, of course, to show you this machine in action, and hopefully that will help you make a decision whether the D8 is the right choice for your coffee-based business. So the first thing I'd like to point out is the modern and really quite attractive aesthetics of the Sanremo D8. This is a good-looking machine. This machine I have in front of me is, of course, white. Sanremo calls this pure white, but it's also available pure black. It's available in a mixture of black and white. That's called black and white. And then we have special colors like copper and black or champagne and white. You really can customize the machine for your own personal needs and your own personal taste. The machine in front of me is also the tall cup version. So you'll see there's quite a bit of clearance between the drip tray and the portafilter. That, of course, is by design because here in North America and in Canada, a lot of people or a lot of cafes are giving drinks to go. And with this clearance, you can put quite a tall paper cup, like even a 20-ounce paper cup or a travel mug. There's lots of clearance. And if you're making something smaller, like a cappuccino or an espresso, it comes with cup risers for both groups. I only have one here, but there are cup risers for both groups. On the inside of the machine, there is a heat exchanger boiler. The 2-group machine has a 7-liter boiler, whereas the 3-group machine has an 11-liter boiler. However, the D8 is actually quite different than a normal traditional heat exchanger machine. The way this machine works, and the Pro version which I have in front of me, we can set the temperature for each group individually, which is not possible on a traditional heat exchanger. The way they accomplish this is, of course, the water does pass through a heat exchanger inside the boiler, but there is additional heating systems in each group where we can set the temperature to whatever we like. I have both groups set at 92 degrees, but if I wanted to, I can have this group set at 90 degrees, for example, and this one at 92. And the temperature stability is also significantly better than on a traditional heat exchanger. So what Sanremo has accomplished here is using, really very traditional, very old technology. They've added a kind of a new twist to it and given us a machine that has better temperature stability and better control at a very reasonable price. The D8 Pro comes standard with dual-walled no-burn steam wand. So I can turn the steam on and I can hold this wand here. It does not get hot. You see here I'm touching it all over. I'm not going to touch the tip because the tip does get hot. but the wand itself, it's not even getting warm, to be honest with you. It's quite good. And on this side, of course, the same is true. I'll just show you that. But again, lots of steaming power, and I can hold this very easily. Works really well. On the right-hand side here, we have the hot water dispenser. And a very cool feature of the D8 is that this is actually programmable. Right now I have it set to 4 seconds. I press that button, my group counts down from 4 to 0, and I have 4 seconds of water that is delivered. That programmability is a very cool feature because what you'll do in your cafe, you'll set it to your cups and then you'll just press that button and you can turn away for a second and do something else. You don't have to watch it. Another extremely useful feature of the D8 Pro, and this comes standard with the D8 Pro, is a hot water mixing valve. And what that does is it introduces cold water and it mixes it with the hot water from the boiler so you can reduce the temperature of the water coming out of that spout. In a traditional or normal kind of heat exchanger setup, the water that comes out of that wand is very, very hot. It's boiling hot. Where here we can cool it down to about 90 degrees, which is a perfect temperature for an Americano. Next, let's discuss the group. This is where we're interacting, of course, with the machine most often and where the controls are. There are 4 buttons at the top, but the D8 can be run in a couple of different modes. It can be run either in a 4-dose mode or a 7-dose mode. 7 doses, to be honest, is a lot. I don't know of any cafes that require that much, but if you do, that ability is there. So each one of these 4 buttons at the top represents a dose. You have kind of just different icons. You have a single short, a double long, single long. And down here we have kind of different buttons that we use in order to interact with the machine. The Sanremo logo here has 2 purposes, and this can also be changed. You can change kind of how you interact with the machine. The way I have it set is I have the Sanremo button as a 2-second purge. So if I just want to purge the group, if I want to just kind of clean it or whatever, I press that button and I get a 2-second purge. If I press this button twice, that's continuous dosing. So basically, this is me using the machine as a semi-automatic machine. I get my shot timer counting up how many seconds I've extracted, and I also have the flow meter showing me how many milliliters of water have gone through. Right now, I'm just to give you an idea, I'm about 20 seconds and 165 milliliters, which of course is way too much water for a shot of espresso, but you do have those kind of statistics displayed here. So now let's talk about the groups, and this is where you'll be interacting with the machine the most often, of course, because that's how you make coffee, and the interface is on top of the group. It's quite elegantly designed. It features a nice kind of circular display that gives us some information. At the top, we see our temperature setting. That's what the group is set to. It's currently set to 92 degrees. The big number in the middle is the timer. So we'll know how long our coffee is extracting for. And then below that, we have milliliters, and that's how much water has flown through the flow meter. Also very useful. So you have both time and volume information displayed. That information is quite pertinent when you are dialing in your coffee to get consistent results. So like I said, you have the option of running it as a 5-dose kind of programming or 7-dose. And you also have the option to basically program each group individually. So theoretically, you can have 14 different doses if the groups are set differently. Or what you can do is you set your program up on the first group and then copy it over to group 2, to group 3 if you have a 3-group machine. That's usually more practical. The Sanremo D8 also features automatic back flushing, so at the end of the day, or if you're a busy cafe, sometimes midday, you can back flush each group, and that's an automatic process that's run with software on the machine. The machine also features reminders, so it can remind you or your staff in order to back flush the machine based on a certain amount of extraction, certain amount of coffees, which is also a kind of a neat feature, because if you're busy, sometimes those coffees come fast and quick, and you have to remember to clean the machine, because a clean machine makes tastier coffee. So before I start brewing, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lower the temperature on group 1 to 90 degrees. The coffee that I'm using, I actually like it at a slightly lower temperature. In order to do that, in order to enter the menu of the machine, I hold down the logo button on the first group, and then I press the hot water. And I've got lots of different options here, but what I'm doing is I'm changing the temperature. So I'm just going to scroll to group 1 temperature. I've got it at 92 degrees. I'm going to lower that down to 90 and then program it. While I'm in here, I'll also mention you do have programmable pre-infusion on this machine. So if I wanted to, I can set my pre-infusion. That's based on time. However, I have this dialed in without using pre-infusion, but you do have that option. Okay, so now that I have my temperature set, group 1, I've got at 90 degrees. Let's make some coffee. Let's brew some espresso. And as is my tradition, the first drink I'm going to do is 2 shots of espresso. And alongside the D8, I'm using the Mahlkönig E80 grind by sink grinder. This is definitely one of the best grinders on the market, certainly one of my personal favorites. I have it set at 18 grams. I got 18.2. That's very nice accuracy. I'm just going to use a NCD distributor here to kind of even out those grinds, and my puck press tamper in order to get a tamp in. And then I have this programmed to deliver when we dialed this in. We have 18 grams of coffee inside the portafilter, and we're looking for a 2-to-1 ratio, approximately 36 grams of liquid out. So that was a 26-second extraction, but it does look quite good. We're getting beautiful striping on here if you want to take a look. And of course, I'm going to give it a little taste. I mean, tremendous. Really, this is a coffee I know quite well. and I love it. So the second drink that I'm going to make, or the second set of drinks, is going to be a latte on the left group, and on the right group I'm going to make an Americano. And I'm going to do these drinks concurrently because I want to show you how easy it is to make coffee with a setup like this, with a Sanremo D8, with the Mahlkönig grind by weight, the puck press. Really, the flow is actually quite nice and quite easy. So I'm going to take the first portafilter. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a wipe because there's a little bit of condensation in here. And I'll begin grinding my coffee. And while that's grinding, I'll wipe down my second portafilter. Remove that there. Begin grinding my second dose. Now, I like to do my Americanos water first, and I mentioned the programming aspect of the water earlier. I actually changed it since then to match this cup. I changed it to 8 seconds. So I'm going to put this right here, begin extracting there, grab my cup here. I grabbed some milk in the meantime, purge my wand. And of course, I froth my milk here on the steam wand. Right here I have a cappuccino, and my Americano also finished on its own. 2 drinks, done quickly and very easily. So for the last drink, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add even more automation. And the way I'm going to do that is with the Latte Art Factory. Now, Latte Art Factory is a milk dispensing system. It's really fantastic. First of all, it reduces milk waste by 20 or even 25%. And with the cost of dairy and the cost of plant-based alternatives, really saves you a lot of money. But it also saves you a lot of labor, and it makes your drinks much more consistent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a latte macchiato, or I'm going to attempt to do a latte macchiato. So I'm just going to take my cup over here, and I'm going to dispense my milk into this cup. It's all pre-portioned, and while that's working, I'm going to come over here and brew my coffee. Now, for a macchiato, we want 3 layers. So we want the top layer to be foam, the middle layer to be coffee, and the bottom layer to be just kind of steamed milk. So it's not super easy to do. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pour it from a pitcher because I want to pour it very slowly to get that separation. It's also a good idea to let your glass with your milk just sit a few seconds so that milk kind of separates, and you get the 2 different layers. And with the Latte Art Factory, I actually set it so I have steamed milk at the bottom and foam at the top. So we'll attempt this now. I've got my shot ready. This little pitcher here, and let's slowly pour it in. You can see that's beginning to settle. Again, you want that kind of 3-layered presentation with the coffee in the middle. You can see that's turned out actually not too bad. Takes a little bit of practice, but it is quite lovely. And I'm going to give it a taste. Really nice. This was just one kind of use example of the Latte Art Factory. You can actually use the Latte Art Factory to pour actually even competition quality foam that you can pour into a pitcher, and then you would pour it yourself into your kind of espresso and create latte art. You can do really amazing things. It's a fantastic product. Like I said in the introduction, the Sanremo 8 is a machine that we're really excited about. We really do think it's a game changer. You get an incredible amount of features: individual temperature control over each group, fantastic steaming power, hot water mixing valve, volumetric dosing, beautiful aesthetics, and it's all at a very approachable price. This machine is already doing fantastic numbers in North America and around the world, and we also expect it to do very well in Canada. If you have any questions about the D8, about the Mahlkönig E80 grind by sink, about the puck press, about the Latte Art Factory, please feel free to reach out to idrinkcoffee.com. We're always here to help. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this about espresso machines, about coffee grinders, coffee accessories, everything to do with coffee. Thank you for watching. and have a great day.